What is going on, YouTube? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. It is Friday, and this is Friday Night Live. I'm very happy to be here. I'm taking a more calm, introductory demeanor, but I promise you, we're going to get into some things tonight. It's been like 2 months since I did a live stream, and it feels good to be back. So appreciate everyone that's already hanging out. GT, Gary, what's going on, Gary? Blackout, haven't seen you in a while. Blackout, thanks for coming in. Saint, hey man, like I said, shoot me an email. You can come on the show and we can talk about it. But we have a few topics of discussion to get to tonight. As always, I'm going to take just a couple of minutes to let some more folks come in. This is I'm excited. We'll probably go for about 90 minutes tonight. Nukes, Shadow Rad, and Discovery Bay. Good to see you guys here. I actually need to open up one more browser window here for when I share my screen, because we are going to do some Patreon Q&A tonight as well. So big shout out to all my Patreon members that have stuck with me. We're going to be pulling up some of your guys' questions here. So, yeah, man, I mean, okay, as I always like to do, EW, Isaac, what's going on, guys? I mean, some updates, man. I mean, same thing, guys. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. I do have some giveaway stuff. I am going to announce in this month, I promise there's going to be specific videos where I'm going to announce a key slab giveaway. All right, that's for my 13,000 subscriber contest. And I also have a little, let's see, this was a lot here. I got a couple of lots. I got this Spawn 9 and a Near Mint that I'm going to be giving away. First appearance of Angela. And I got a little, I call this kind of a reader's lot. We got a Weapon X. We got a couple Fantastic Four Bronze Age books. And a cool Marvel Tales reprint of the Death of Green Goblin. That's a little giveaway. I might give this away to somebody tonight. Might give this little lot away to somebody tonight. And I'm gonna give a big shout out to Peter, friend of the channel and Patreon member Peter. Peter, thank you so much for paying it forward. He won this lot right here as a Patreon giveaway, and I'm gonna be paying it forward. I might give this away as another Patreon giveaway. So, yeah, just Peter, I really appreciate you so much. Peter actually also donated the key slab that we're going to be giving away for the 13,000 subscriber contest. In order to enter that, you have to be subscribed to the channel. But like I said, look out for at least 2 to 3 videos that are dropping on my channel in the month of September to learn how to be entered in to win the slab. I'll give you some hints. It's a CGC key, super high grade, and it is a modern book, but it's a really awesome book to have. Movie fan, what's going on? Comic book love, what is going on? Yeah, I got to get back to having guests on. So that's another thing I just want to talk about real quick here. Schedule, what's been going on with me. Some of you may know that, there was a point with everything I've gone through over the last year. Thought about ending the channel, not even doing this anymore, but I'm still here. I'm trying to get to a schedule. For those that already know that I am an educator, I've been working as an educator part-time. I might be moving to full-time. I went and received the first portion of my credentials this summer. Very excited. I finally completed that. I might go to substitute teaching full-time. I might not do that until next year's school year, in the fall of next year. So we'll see. But obviously, I'm still here. I am doing comic sales on both IG, Instagram, as well as still testing the waters with Whatnot. Usually doing those on Fridays. So the way that it's looking like month to month or week to week is I'm going to bounce between each week. 1 week, I'm going to be doing a sale on Instagram, a claim sale. Then the next week, I'll be doing a auction sale on Whatnot. And the next week, we'll probably be doing a Friday Night Live. So that's kind of what it's looking like right now. Of course, Comic Book Canon is still on Sundays, which I'm doing my best to be there every week, the best as possible. That link's below if you guys still aren't subscribed to Comic Book Canon. Kevin, what's going on, Kevin? Pedro. So Man, I mean, I think that's about it. You know, I'm still here and you guys are still here supporting, and I really, really do appreciate you guys. So now, looking at the title, as I always like to do, you know, call it clickbait. I don't call it that because it's not that. I mean, we're gonna address what the title says tonight, guys. A lot of people having issues with Marvel right now. Why? Well, I mean, there's many reasons. A lot of people are unhappy, especially a lot of YouTubers these days that want to complain about everything. We're going to talk about price increase. Okay, so we're going to start the show off tonight talking about price increases. We're not going to spend too much time talking about it, but it's something that is very important to a lot of us. All right. From there, we're going to move on to certain issues that I have with YouTube and how that connects to human decency and where we are at as a collective species. Yeah, I'm going to get deep with it. I also invited somebody on the channel. I invited somebody in the chat, Saint, if you want to come on. I also sent the link to an individual that I've been communicating with. It started a year ago. So, you know, I sent the link. We'll get into that later. I told him he could just come on whenever he shows up. So if I am talking about the price increase with Marvel, if he shows up, we're going to put that on pause and we're going to jump over to give him the floor to discuss what he wants to talk about tonight if he shows up. All right. With that being said, guys, thank you guys. I hope you guys are having a good Friday night. It is Memorial Day weekend. Oh, excuse me, Labor Day weekend. Excuse me. That's just me being tired. By the way, if you're out drinking, you know, always be safe. Don't drive. Call a freaking Uber. I'm telling you, man. Or hit me up if you're in my area. Tell you guys that every time. All right, let's do this. Let's get into the first topic of discussion tonight, people. And that is, indeed, Marvel price increase. So for those that don't know, Marvel is increasing most of their titles to a $4.99 increase, something that DC did what? About 2 years ago now? Man. So look, let me just go in and say this. Am I happy about this? Absolutely not. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments as well. What are your initial thoughts on this? I'm not happy about it. Who is happy about seeing something that you want and having to pay more for it? I mean, you know, Safeway grocery stores here, they got the third-party sushi chefs, right? They work at the grocery store, and every Friday is $5 Friday, and you go in there, you get the sushi for $5. I mean, this sushi is solid, man. I mean, it is, especially the one local to me, 15 minutes down the road. The woman that runs that makes the sushi there, I mean, it's top notch. It's better than a lot of these restaurants, man. $5 sushi every Friday. I do it. That's what we do. It's $6 now. It's $6 now. I'm like, come on, man. Still, it's $6. I still do it. We just did it today. The point is, nobody wants to pay more for something that they were already paying something for. That, and when it comes to comic books, a lot of us aren't happy paying $3.99 for books. You know, we weren't happy paying $2.99 per books. But at least when DC was like, we're setting the bar. $2.99, we're like, okay. You know, some people might be making a little more money because minimum wage is going up, yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, everything is costing a lot more. While minimum wage goes up 5%, the cost of food, the cost of gas, the cost of rent, etc., is going up 300%. So we don't want to see anything continue to increase in price. And no, don't blame it on inflation. I'll talk about this really briefly because I talked about this before. This is a whole other topic of discussion that goes beyond comic books. But while inflation exists, inflation is the biggest lie that people sell you. And this is how you can tell. When a company's profit margins are increasing, they are raising their prices, it is not due to inflation. Period. When the CEO's, revenue goes up 300% and they're increasing prices, it is not due to inflation. Moving on. Let's read a few comments here. What you guys think about price increases. Movie Fan says, Another increase. I'm not happy and glad I stopped getting the newer books. Fair enough. Price increase is just yet another good reason to periodically review your monthly pre-orders and maybe take out those few titles you don't actually like. La Fanfadio or Farlow. I hear you. I love that. Absolutely. And I tell you guys all the time, I've been telling you guys for years, take advantage of your previews orders. I don't care where you get them from. You can get them from Midtown, although I don't buy anything from Midtown. I don't really suggest that you guys do, but if you do, hey, I buy mine from my comic shop. There's some other online retailers out there as well. I'd rather $5 or $6 on a graphic novel. Reef, you can buy Copper Age books for $3 to $5. That is very true. Discovery Bay, Marvel needs to follow the price increase with an increase in paper quality. The wavy covers on New Comic Book Day is frustrating. Valid. Toy Movie Maker, the Tays of 75 cents. Yep. I was prime, like my prime collecting days, like as a kid, were $1 to $1.50. I mean, that was my prime. I did notice the facsimiles, which is all I buy, went up to $4.99. Yeah, and there was a couple of facsimiles that were like $6.99. I don't know what that was about. Paper quality does suck, compared to DC. Hey, how about this? How about DC's paper quality on their facsimiles, where it's that heavy, there's a name for it, but it's that heavyweight news stock. I love it, man. I love it. Let's see. EW says, not surprised, but still seems crazy. I haven't bought a Marvel book in over a year, only buying 3 books a month now. I'm going back and rereading through my collection. I hear you. Obi-Wan Shinobi, what's going on? Yargo, more pleasure reading Dollar Binners. I hear it. Cali Comics, what's going on? How can Image offer cardstock covers at a lower price than Marvel's wavy covers? Okay. All right, guys, we're going to break this down. Now, while I disagree, while I hate this price increase as much as you, as much as all you guys, honestly, I can't be mad at Marvel. I can't be mad. Okay? And Nuke, I'm going to talk about this. And why Marvel can do it and Image doesn't is because of this cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit analysis. When they meet at their monthly or quarterly meetings and they're looking at their P&L, profit and loss, and they're seeing what they can do, because remember, and again, this ain't a bad thing. It's just the way it's the way businesses work. A business has one goal, to maximize revenue, period. That's just the way it is. When they sit there and look at their profits or P&L sheets, they are looking at every way that they can maximize revenue. And by doing that, they look at cost benefit analysis. Okay. Meaning what's the cost? What's the benefit? If we spend money on this, is it going to do this? If we, invest in higher paper quality, what's the benefit? If we raise cover price, what's the benefit? How much is it going to cost us? And what's the benefit? Now, some companies may say, well, the cost is a literal, monetary cost because we're going to take a hit. But some businesses don't look at maybe the initial hit in terms of cost. What's the saying? Spend money to make money, right? Some people want to take those hits. Starbucks did this. Starbucks, I believe it was like, I don't remember what year, 2009, 10, 11, 12, I don't know. They had annual losses for like 3 years in a row. How and why? Well, mainly they were shutting down stores. They were closing a whole bunch of stores and revamping everything. But by doing that, once they restructured, they started seeing record-breaking years. Now, of course, over the last couple of years since COVID, stocks been kind of hurting. But, a lot has to do with COVID, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to get into that. But, they actually sat there and said, and look, they're a publicly traded company, so they got to explain this to the shareholders and the stockholders. Like, what are we doing taking hits like this? Well, I'm telling you, watch, because we're looking towards the future. We're looking to that long term, and it worked. So when it comes to like Image can probably understands their customer base to say, look, if we cost benefit analysis, if we cut costs, right, we can cut costs and save money on materials by going with a lesser quality paper. But if cutting costs then loses customers, which means a decrease in revenue, what's the benefit? Well, there is none, because you might, now your revenue percentage to your expenditures is taking a hit. So ultimately you may be spending less, but you're making less. So I'm sure that Image sits there and says, we are attracting or maximizing our revenue and maximizing our customer base by keeping the page quality as it is. Whereas Marvel, whether it's true or not, they really believe that by minimizing quality of paper, they are maximizing their revenue. They don't believe that if they, at least up to this point, they don't believe that if they increase their paper quality, it's going to be beneficial to their profit margin. It's that simple. Now, let's bring it back to price point and dollar amount. $4.99 for most of their titles. Let's see what Discovery Base says here really quick. Do you honestly think that Image can't raise the price $1 across the board? Of course it could. Huge cost benefit for them. Why haven't they? Customers greater than profit. Customers are profit. That's why. So Discovery Bay, I'm agreeing with you, but they can't. I'm agreeing with you, but so basically, yeah, a company can do whatever they want. And I go back to, I talked about this before, it's market equilibrium. Market equilibrium says you have a set price. If you look at it on a graph, right? In XY graph, and you have a set price, and then you have units produced or sold, right? People are constantly finding ways to find, well, if we produce less units, if we decrease X, we can increase Y. Or if we increase X, we can increase Y. So ultimately, they're tied in. They're correlated in terms of being intrinsically tied together. If Image raised the dollar price, their profit margin would most likely decrease at this point. That's why they haven't, because maybe they would lose the amount that customers are spending on their books, and they're looking at market equilibrium. If we set our price at this point, we could sell this much. If we raise our prices, we're going to estimate that we could still sell X this much amount, but it's going to decrease just enough to where our profit margin is going to shrink. That's where you're not setting your price at a market equilibrium. Marvel right now believes that by raising the price, they can still maximize profits. Yeah, and while, saying somebody's naive or anything, I'm not going to go there, but, what I'm trying to say is Image is doing the same thing Marvel's doing. Yeah, nobody's like, oh, we care about the customers. No, the customers are the profits, so they sit there and run the same algorithms that Marvel does. And because Image isn't Marvel, a multi-billion-dollar, conglomerate under Disney, they feel that it won't benefit their profit margins. Now, let me tell you why I'm as upset at you guys about this, but I'm not mad at them. Like, how can they do this? Okay, so many people are going to say Marvel's struggling already with titles, right? I mean, sales in many areas are down. You had DC try to, push Future State a couple years back with saying, okay, we're going to minimize quantity, maximize quality, and we're going to raise the price on you guys. And it didn't work. So what did they do? They went back to minimizing quality, maximizing quantity, and still keeping the prices high, right? That's what Marvel's doing right now. And let me tell you why. The sole reason why Marvel, even if Marvel takes a hit, an even greater hit in total copies sold of their new titles week to week because of the $4.99 price point, they're either thinking that dollar increase is either going to make up for it or it's going to make up enough, because what they're going to make money on isn't cover A for us readers. Marvel can raise their cover price to $4.99 because they're making money off of variants. Period. That's why Marvel raised their cover price on their new books to $4.99 because they're making money off of variants. So for anybody that sits there and says, I'm tired of variants, I'm tired of 30, 40, 50 variants on each book, guess what, guys? 30, 40 variants on each book sells, and it sells more than cover A. And now they're making more money off of them. So they can take a hit off of how many people are going to the comic shops or going online and buying cover A, because those people that buy variants, you already know that the majority of variant collectors, they don't care about a dollar increase. I mean, they're out buying incentives for 30, 40, 50, 100, 200 bucks. Knowing that a year from now, many of those titles won't even be able to be sold on the secondary market for what they paid. Now, are they stupid? Are they naive? Are they ignorant? Are they ruining the hobby? No. They are consumers buying a product that they want. And Marvel is tending to a need. Now, before you guys say, well, why doesn't Marvel tend to the readers? They don't need to. They don't need to. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if the variant collectors weren't buying variants right now, folks, your floppy comics that some of you guys still buy because you want to read them and because you're mad that they cost so much, they wouldn't exist. Variant collectors are the main reason why floppy comic books still exist. They're the main reason why publishers, especially Marvel and DC. Now, indies, they're a whole other beast. Kickstarters, all that. I'm talking about the big two. So, this is where you guys really got to come down, and we got to walk across the bridge together, guys, because no matter how much you hate variants, no matter what you think of price points, imagine this. If you had your wish and you rubbed the magic lamp and said, I wish that these, speculators or whatever you want to call them, variant, I wish Marvel didn't, produce 30 or 40 variants. I wish none of this was going on. If you wish that, then you wouldn't have your floppies to buy and read. Now, let me look at some, let's see what you guys are saying here. Marvel can't really come up with original stuff for decades, honestly. Movie fan, I kind of hear you on that, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Marvel title, Gary says Marvel title sales are going down simply because the creative well has run dry. I do think there's a lot of creative issues, Gary. I do. I don't think it's as bad as people think. I think that's rhetoric and hype, which goes to drama, which we're going to talk about a little later in the show. But I do agree. You know, I outside of just creativity and story wise, the thing that I don't like when I'm paying $3.99 or $4.99 a book is I can read it in 60 seconds because there's not much dialogue. What used to happen in one issue in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, or even 90s now happens across like 3 or 4 issues. Now, maybe the story's still good, but why do I got to wait 3 or 4 months and pay $12, $15, $18, whatever, $16 in order to get the same thing that I was, you know, with inflation, you know, maybe I was paying $4 for in the 80s. That's not right. Like, give me more per issue at least, but they need to milk it. Okay, Daniel, you're arguing Apple. I mean, what you're saying here? Okay, Daniel, I agree with you. Look, every company wants the same thing. How they get there is always different. Look at Apple in the 80s when they sat down and said, what did they sit down to do? They sat down to maximize their money, to maximize their profits, to grow their business. When Image sits down, they sit down to maximize and grow their business. When Marvel sits down, when Disney sits down, they sit down to maximize and grow their business. When Apple sat down in the 80s, they wanted to maximize and grow their business. What do? They booted Steve Jobs. They brought in the ex-CEO of Pepsi. And dude, for I don't know how many years he was in charge, not even a decade, I don't think. He sat down every time he sat down trying to maximize and grow his business and maximize profits. It wasn't working. So what do? They brought in Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs came back, he knew his customer base. He knew what consumers wanted. But what did he do? Every time he sat down and thought of ways to maximize and grow his business and maximize revenues. So while I agree with you, Image and Marvel are made up of a little bit of a different, you know, landscape. You know, but it doesn't change what they're thinking and what they're doing when they sit down. It's just a matter of how do we get there. Image has a bunch of creators sitting down where maybe Marvel doesn't. I don't know who's sitting down and looking at the quarterly statements and making these decisions at Marvel. I don't know, but they both sit down wanting the same thing, but they have different ideas of how to get there. Comics Explained says, Marvel's making a ton of money off me. I love everything they're doing right now. I love it. Comics Explained. I mean, you know, I like this because it goes to show that not everybody is mad at everything. Right? Movie fan. Yep, variants. Even I buy variants, you know, just cover B and C variants, you know, even at cover price if I like the cover better. So, guys, I want to kind of sum this up like this. Look, let me get some water real quick. Look, I'm not saying that there's still issues. I want to talk about the Mark Millar interview that he did on Thinking Critical. Quite honestly, I watched a little bit of it, but I couldn't even. I read the article. I read all of his quotes. You know, to be quite honest, I don't know everyone that was on that panel, but you know, I've shared my views on Thinking Critical. No disrespect to him as a human being. Wes, right? That's his name. No disrespect to him as a human being, but I've already said what I believe. I used to actually like his channel because I used to really think that he posed, you know, talking points to make people think critically, and now, you know, he's just mad at everything because it sells. And again, we're going to get a little more into that, hence the other part of the title of this live stream. And I do think, I don't necessarily think that he's out of touch. I just think he knows what sells for his channel and what gets him clicks and views. Mark Millard, to me, was completely out of touch with everything he said. He came up there and said, we need to hire everyone that was writing when I was writing. You know, bring back McFarlane to write Spider-Man. Last I checked, the majority of comic collectors, when McFarlane was writing Spider-Man, hated that McFarlane was writing Spider-Man. Funny how things work that way, right? You know, our memories are short-circuited. In our old age. Mark Millar actually said nothing to solve the problem, because nostalgia won't solve the problem. It won't. They tried to do that with Dan Slott on the Amazing Spider-Man run. However, 15 years ago now. It didn't work. Why? Because we're tired of the same thing over and over. And while some of Dan Slott's stuff was okay, don't get me wrong, he working with whoever was, you know, in charge and making decisions, didn't know where to take Spider-Man. Okay, let's kill him and bring Doc Ock. And I actually think that, you know, that little run with, you know, Superior Spider-Man wasn't too bad. It was a little different, but now let's make Peter, you know, Junior Tony Stark, Peter Junior Tony Stark is much better in the MCU than he was in Dan Slott's ASM title. We never corrected what happened in 2007 with, you know, before Brand New Day. We never corrected it. Everybody, all this stuff with bringing MJ back, like, they're nostalgia doesn't work, because you thought you could come back and bring in Brand New Day and go back to this feel of what Spider-Man used to be in the 60s. If you remember, that's what Brand New Day was. But then that didn't work, so they tried to change it up and make Peter, you know, a billionaire running his own business. So, another thing that is very important to take in is that everything being written right now is not bad. Everything being written right now is not bad. It's just very hard to be fresh and creative. And I don't know if people at Marvel or DC are scared to do that. If the editors and the execs, maybe they're just scared to do that. Marvel and DC, because so much of their revenue now for their primary market is from variants. It's not that they don't care about comics in terms of the stories, but it's that I think they're scared to take risks. It doesn't matter if you bring in, you know, Mark Millar back. I mean, some people in the comments were like, you know, Mark Millar just did something not too long ago that like was freaking as flat as everything else they're reading. We don't need old people to come back and say, oh, nostalgia sells. There are plenty of amazing creative talents out there, writers and artists. Because guys, even back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s, not everything you read or every art page, every piece of art on a page was great. And we forget that. I don't know how many horrible stories I've read from the, you know, primarily the 80s and 90s. Come on, guys. So, look, will anything ever change with the big two? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Variant collectors are keeping the floppy hobby alive. I do believe that Marvel has been trying over the last few years to really get back into the creative process. I think actually they've been trying to do it since around Marvel Now in 2012. But I think they were completely out of touch. I think they said, I want to get to new demographics, but they didn't know how to do it. I think they're trying to now. You bring Kevin Feige over to the comic book side. It's going to take time, though. Right now, they're milking the price point because they need to keep revenue afloat because of the variant market. But if I had to make a prediction here, if I believe that Marvel really cared about bringing readers back in to buying more from the primary market of floppy comics and these new titles, I think over the next, I'm going to give it 2 years. Over the next 2 years, they are going to allow this price increase to be something to where maybe they can start adding more depth to each title again. And maybe they really start having creative teams that really start thinking out of the box and taking risks, because that's what they need to do. Taking risks. And also, I think taking risks has to do with getting out of the superhero cliches. I'm going to go through some comments here, and then hopefully we can move on to the next topic of discussion here, which has to do a lot with my issues with YouTube and the drama. Yeah. Carrie, I think it's become an issue too. I think continuity is something that is really like, this is honestly, I know people are always like, oh, they should have did this for this movie, or they should have did this for this, or this company should do this. But I am going to put my humble opinion out there real quick. I think Marvel can really scale back on ongoing titles and make, well, see, and actually, I actually think they're doing this a bit. I think they're doing this a little more and more, where you have either titles that are condensed to 12 to 18 issues, and you have this story arc, this well-driven, thought out, mapped out story arc that develops the characters, that develops the investment that we have as readers in the characters. And you do a 1 through 12, and then you retitle it. You could bring on another writer, or you could keep the same writer on. And what do they put on the books? The legacy numbers. The legacy numbers. Now, I think by doing this, it could do a few things. One, we know that the new number ones are a big price grab, because what do? When they were $3.99, oh, it's a new number one, we're restarting the title. Put the number one to $4.99 or $5.99 or $6.99, etc. It brings more hype in. Number ones always sell more than later issues in a title. All right. But it allows them to really focus on these condensed story arcs. I think that's something that I think that they have been doing, that they can continue to do and do more of. And I think that might help with this issue of continuity. All right, guys, let's see. There's a couple more comments that we can go over on this topic before we move on. Let's see. King Sport Cow. I'm guessing you weren't alive in the 90s. That was flames, all of it. If you don't think I was alive in the 90s, I appreciate you. I'd give you a big hug, because then I'd be like 23 years old. I was very well alive in the 90s and in the 80s. And while there was a lot of great stuff going on, there was a lot of dookie too. So remember, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of books produced. So feel free to tell me what you enjoyed during the 90s, though. But I'll tell you, whatever. But look, guys, it boils down to this too. Art is subjective. So what you may think is crap, I may love, and vice versa. YOLO, what's going on? Have you ever bought a floppy off a spinner rack at a gas station? It's nostalgia. I hear you. I'm a nostalgia buff. I live off nostalgia. I still have up until recently, I still had a cassette player in my truck. I still listen to records. I have my cassette players. I have VHSs. Like if it was up to me, I would still have shag carpet in my house. I love vintage furniture. I love vintage books. Like I'm all about vintage. I'm still trying to find me a Laserdisc player to play my Laserdisc on. So if anybody has one that they want to sell me for a good price, let me know. I need me that Laserdisc player. My first comic came off of a spinner rack in a grocery store. But my point is this: nostalgia alone is not going to save the primary market for the big two. Good storytelling and good art, taking risks, those things are going to continue to propel the primary market and variants, because like I said, without variants of the bloodline right now, folks. Don, what's going on, Don? Appreciate you hanging out, guys. If you're not subscribed to Don Comic Book Junkie, go check him out. I just did a room tour. I'm going to start, Don. I'm going to start calling myself the Junior Junkie. You know how they have like Junior Giants? Well, I live in California. We have San Francisco Giants. My kids, during the summer, they have the little summer youth leagues called Junior Giants. I'm a Junior Junkie. Don, if you ever make like a pin, like I would gladly wear it on my hat, like official Junior Junkie. So if you guys like my room tour of 25,000 comic books, Don just released another room tour of his, like, I think he's at like almost 44,000 comic books. Go check him out. Go check him out. And I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Must be the lighting. Man, hey, man, I appreciate it, man. I'm telling you, I do. I'll take it. I'll be 23. I'll be 23. I mean, my oldest is 18, so nostalgia is great, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm so sentimental when it comes to nostalgia. Darkock. All right, guys. All right, listen up. We're gonna move on. Now. Let me see. Let's pull this out. I'm gonna pull this out. We're gonna move on to the next topic of discussion, guys. I think a lot of people probably here for this. You guys might like this. Boom. All right, guys. Man, I'm gonna get some water. You guys ready for this? I already got criticized by somebody before the show even started. Man, you here you go. You love drama, anything for clicks and views, and it's just so funny because it's the complete opposite of that. But I'll still get rolled on. It's all good. If I wouldn't get hit, I would start playing some music right now and letting it be known. Anyways, guys, drama. I'm gonna break it down right now. I'm gonna say it again briefly. This last year of my life, we're on the 1 year anniversary, basically, of C2E2. Oh boy, was C2E2 such a magnificent thing. C2E2 2022. Let me make that clear. It was so magnificent because let me tell you. YouTube, it was like Christmas Day for YouTubers. I mean, it was like, Scrooge McDuck jumping into his, vault of gold coins. Everyone jumped on the C2E2 stuff. YouTubers that nobody even was watching. I mean, we're having thousands and thousands of views, making content every day. But you guys may be like, Chris, you were too. Yes, I was. I mean, not every day, but I made a few. I made a couple videos and did a couple live streams. Yes, I did. But for a different reason. But most of us know what C2E2 was all about. And, you know, I'm not making fun of the issues that arose, because there were serious issues. And I will say, without going back and repeating stuff that we already went over again and again and again and again a year ago, I'm very glad that Black Flag got, you know, called out and, you know, was held accountable. That's all I'll talk about. I'm not going to talk about any other individuals involved. I think it allowed people to see, like, okay, maybe we need to operate differently in this community, in this hobby, in this industry, et cetera, et cetera. That's all great. Even for people that weren't necessarily doing anything wrong, you know, perception, intent, perception. Sometimes intent, path to hell is paved with good intentions. Sometimes it's perceived in such a negative way that it may hurt people and it may hurt you. So you just gotta figure that out, because, you know, anybody that's in the public eye, we care about how we're being perceived. We learned a lot. We learned a lot a year ago, guys. And then I went into a crazy year myself. Again, not to go over it in too much detail, but I really went through some of the darkest times of my life. And I came back out, and I'm here, and I'm glad that I'm here now with you guys. But I realized something. And yes, this involves YouTube and algorithms, but I realized that through this time, I realized two things, and I could approach this from two different ways. I realized that human beings, what is that line that Optimus Prime says at the end of, I think, the first movie? I forget. If anybody remembers, drop it. Something about the potential of human beings, right? Them being a new species. They have a lot to learn. I was given faith in the humankind over this last year. But with me saying that, it's very hard for me to say that without saying that faith, though, is almost overshadowed by the freaking disgustingness and ignorance that plagues our society. And I'm not saying that people are bad people, but people are sick in many ways. I realize that we are addicted to the ego. We are addicted to the drama. And I realized that when I came back, there's so much more important things in life than the drama. But I realized how sick it was because of YouTube algorithms. Now, hear me out. I realized that I'm probably going to get, I mean, look, I always get crap no matter what I say or what I do, because some people just want to do that. Some people just want to knock somebody down and, you know, pick apart their words and paint you a certain way. But there might be some valid pushback against me saying this. I'm not looking to blame anything or get any sympathy here, but my channel has suffered over this last year. All right. It started after the C2E2 stuff in August, because while everything that I did even was, you know, getting a lot of views, everyone was. You could have been a YouTube channel with 300 subscribers. You were getting thousands of views if you did something about C2E2 and the drama. But again, without rehashing, you know, certain people didn't like what I had to say. They took to their YouTube channels, you know, decided to say things that weren't true at all about me. And out of, you know, at that time, you know, my 12,000 subscribers, in a matter of like a week, I lost over 200 subscribers. Now, for those that don't know, when a YouTube channel loses, this is a fact, when a YouTube channel loses subscribers, it feeds that to the algorithms. Now, again, like I said, I'm not sitting here asking for sympathy. I'm making a point. I'm going to make a point that matters to this right here. Once that happened, everything started taking a hit. My viewership, my impressions, most importantly. Now, what is an impression? There's impression and then there's click-through rate that are two very important things that all of you should know. Impressions is how many times you open up your phone or your laptop or your tablet, right? And you go on YouTube and you see your home screen and you see thumbnails of videos. Anytime you see a thumbnail of a video, whether you're scrolling or whatever, that's an impression. YouTube is showing it to you. Click-through percentage is how many times out of all the times they've impressed that thumbnail on you, how many times does somebody click? So this is what was happening. During this time, my revenue went down, my viewership went down, I'm losing subs. My click-through rate percentage increased. It increased. The average click-through percentage for a successful channel is about 5%. I was still averaging during this time around 8 to 9%. What's this? It's why you get this. And yeah, exactly. Now, here's another thing that I did. I was monitoring. I have 2 personal accounts, and I subscribe to my journals with my 2 personal accounts. My kids are subscribed, and I've actually polled the community. YouTube stopped suggesting my videos even to my subscribers. There are subscribers, and you know what? Another thing they were doing, they were unsubbing my subscribers. I had subscribers come back to me and say, there's resub you again. Now, when I went on my hiatus because of all the personal stuff that I was going through, that took a little hit too, because again, and this is nobody's fault but my own, YouTube algorithms are fed by consistency. So when a channel is consistent doing one thing in terms of their uploads, when they stop doing that, it feeds the algorithm. So there's something's going on. This channel isn't making as much content. We don't need to, impression as much because we need to focus the impressions on people that are going to get us more money from ad revenue, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what's going on again? My impression rate is staying the same for the most part. It went down a little bit. But then it really started hurting. I'm getting to the point, guys, and it's not about me. This isn't about me. My worst videos, 1,500 views. My worst videos, my worst performing videos for 2+ years. My best videos anywhere from 4,000 to 10,000 views. My average video right now over the last month or so, 500 views. I'm hurting, guys. If you could subscribe and click. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not even doing that right now. I'm just kidding. This is my point. So I started going back and looking at the analytics. So I'm going to pull it up here. Now, over the last month or so, and here's another thing. I came back when I went through everything that I went through in life and said, I'm having a midlife crisis, right? I don't even want to look at comic books. I don't want to do YouTube. I don't want to do any of that. I'm tired of grown men acting like man babies. I'm tired of freaking everyone fighting and arguing. I'm sick of it. Politics, comic books. Can we freaking be decent human beings? I'm done. I said, you know what? No, there's a place for me here still, and I don't want to give this up. And I came back. You know what I said? I haven't even made investment and spec videos. I haven't even done that. I've honed in on stuff that is more important to me as a collector. And I'm not saying that I'm going to keep doing that. Holy Harley, what's going on, man? Thanks for popping in. So, check this out. This is what's been going on. I'm going to show you 3 videos. I did a couple of investment videos that got, decent. Okay. My scam video, well over 3,000 views. All right. And then the next one was, and then I did 2 where I said, like, it had to do with people trying to scam. There's 3 scam videos over 5,000 views and another one over 3,000 views. And then, I mean, my room tour is trending decently well as well. But the Bryce comics. When I sat back, and if you guys watch that, I didn't jump in because that's what people do these days. Oh, there's drama. And what was the title of that video? Why I kept my mouth shut. Why I kept my mouth shut. That's my top trending video in months with almost 6,000 views. You know, and then, you know, when I noticed, you know, I do a, you know, I talk about comic speculation. Is it positive? Is it good? CGC, PGX, 500 views, 600 views. I looked at the impressions. My impressions for let me I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna pull the Bryce one up. If it'll show, I took screenshots of them. I should have had this here, guys. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I'm not going to give you exact numbers. Basically, the impressions of anything that had to do with drama were literally thousands. It was like 1,000%. I'm talking about percent, not 1,000 times more. I'm talking about 1,000% more than any other video. YouTube now, because C2E2 happened and it fed the algorithm so much. And then people start, you know, and then I went back to my normal stuff and I took a hidden subscriber count. It's feeding the algorithms. And then now you get channels that don't even have subscribers, and every time they do something with drama. And I'm not trying to sound salty, guys. I hope you don't take it that way. That's why I said I'm going to get some feedback. I'm going to get some people, oh, you're just whining and complaining. I'm making a point. And it's not really even YouTube's fault. I hate YouTube and its algorithms. But it's because of the viewers. It goes to show how much we care about drama. And it's sad. Now, don't get me wrong, because you have channels out there that are successful. And I will use Rockin' Robbie as a main example, who does nothing but review comics. He's successful. But he built his platform on that. I really feel that my mistake was diving into the drama in the first place. Even though my intent was different than the others. My intent was looking at this and saying, look, I'm not picking a side. No matter if it's Bryce Comics or Whatnot Issues or these other big content creators that I don't need to say their names that sell on Whatnot, that were at C2E2, you know, all the conspiracy theories. I'm not here to ever pick sides. If you guys ever listen to me anytime I talk about the drama, it's because I want to move past it. Because I want us to be able to have conversations that be decent human beings and still hold people accountable. I've been saying this for 3 years now on my channel. There is a way that we can be better human beings with still believing in the core intent that we have if we want to stand up against whatever you think is unjust or unjust or unethical or something that you don't like. But everyone realizes that sensationalizing hate sells. And I go back to my first topic of discussion, Marvel Comics and what's wrong with them. $4.99 price increase. Stories are bad. Mark Millar, bring in the old dudes. Thinking critical. And I'll go back to Jeremy with Geeks and Gamers that some of you may know. When I sat face to face with him on a live stream, live on YouTube, and he admitted to my face that everything that he does is anti-Disney, anti-Marvel, anti-this, anti-that, anti. Because it sells. And now I believe he just believes it himself. That's, you create that reality for you. And it brings me to a possible guest who I'm once again asking if they want to come on. I sent them the link because I would love to lead into a conversation with this individual about what I'm talking about right now. And if there is anybody that's watching right now that thinks that in any way, and again, I don't need to prove myself to anyone, but I do believe with great power comes great responsibility. Call me an influencer, call me whatever you want. Everyone's words and actions influence everybody. And if you think that me having a YouTube channel is in any way a detriment to the good of humanity, your comic collectors, etc., you can let me know right now, and I might send you the link for you to come on and talk about this with me right now, live. Viper. Absolutely. Hate gets views, which is why I've been avoiding, like all social media. Yeah, and Harley, I'm not going to argue with that. Well, I'm not going to argue with your first sentence, but hate is the magnet. Hate is absolutely the magnet. I disagree 100%. Hate's the magnet because if hate wasn't the magnet, we would be solving issues, but we never do. Never. Hardly ever. 99% of the time. Ian, I feel in the midlife crisis. Trust me, it's so much easier to be nice and understanding. Life's too short. Keep doing what you do. Love all your content. Thank you. Yeah, let's not, keep in mind too that we lost an amazing freaking human being that was a great member of this community while all this was going on. And it's like, I'm just tired of this crap. Carrie, thank you. I appreciate it. It does. And look, it doesn't mean that we can't talk about the controversy, but like I always say, how do we do it in a productive way instead of being counterproductive? Always. So again, look, I gave this individual multiple opportunities. Guys, here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do right now, guys. I really got to go to the bathroom. I got to go pee. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I invited this dude on. And I wanted to give this individual the opportunity to come on so he don't think that I'm trying to be disrespectful to him. Now, I want all you guys that are here right now, I want you to give me 60 seconds because I need to run to the, if you want to really, pull out the popcorn or just tune in to what's about to happen, what we're about to get into, I need you to let me go to the bathroom real quick, all right? It ain't going to be right. So I'm going to step away for about 60 seconds, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to get into this, guys. Give me 1 minute. Prime time. I see ya. Here we go. Put the timers on. 60 seconds. I'm back. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. How many did we lose? I think we gained some. I did. I washed my hands. Probably not as long as I usually do, but I know, man. I should just strap on the Depends, huh? Oh, man, guys. Okay. I'm ready to go. So we still got no guest. Let's see if he's responded. Nothing. Okay. All right, guys. Look. I'm gonna bring something up real quick. So, big shout out to content creator Circumstances. All right. I'm gonna pull up his YouTube. Not his YouTube, excuse me. I'm gonna pull up his Instagram. So, sometime about a week or so ago, Circumstances posted a clip of Comic Tom talking about, it's a little clip. I'm assuming from maybe a video he did on his YouTube, obviously, but talking about like variants and incentive variants and really saying like, you know, variants are big money for in something that's keeping LCSs alive, right? And I don't know the entire conversation, but it's kind of similar to what I was talking about earlier in the day. And Circumstances just saying, okay, I appreciate this perspective, you know, and he gives his opinion on it. And then I don't even remember what I said. I think I said something about, you know, like variants have been the majority of sales in the primary market. So I'm gonna bring this up, guys, because, and again, I'm not feeding the trolls. I'm making a point, guys. I'm making a point. I'm trying to have dialogue and conversation so we can move through this. I can't make everybody a better human being, but if I can show you guys what I'm all about and help us that are willing to have conversations, I'm going to bring this up. Here we go. So I get this individual right here saying, stop sucking Tom off, weirdo. And I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, oh, I got it. For context purposes, guys, I got to bring up the question. I got to bring up I asked a question. Yeah, I'm not going to bring it up, actually. It's going to take too long. Anyways, guys, I was just asking an honest question. And this is what I get. And I said, I'm sorry that you're triggered that I just asked an honest question, but, you know, I will invite you on the show. And then I realized that this is an individual that has been basically pulling the same card with me since C2E2. Now, if you guys can see here, this guy was in my comments talking, and look, you guys read it. This ain't Journo. I don't like you. I don't like what your channel. I don't like what you're about. It's not for me. I disagree with you. It ain't nothing like that. This is a grown man making a derogatory personal attack on me. And look, it ain't hurting my feelings, guys. Believe me, it's not hurting my feelings. It's actually, it's funny and it's sad. I don't do this because it hurts my feelings, guys. I really hope you know that. I don't do this because I gotta, like, I do this because I really believe that we can freaking be better. This is last August. I'd like to invite you on a roundtable discussion on my YouTube. Let me know. This is a guy that is using foul language attacking me, and I don't even remember the details of what he was saying last year. He says, I don't have time for that. Ha ha. So you're here to troll and not actually solve problems. Got it. Thanks for clarifying. You're so dense. Some of us actually have jobs. This is just all deflecting. I mean, you know, anyway, so I mean, it went on forever and ever. I gave him the opportunity. And when he sent this comment just a few days ago, I hit him up again. And said, you know, hey, you're too scared to come on the show still. I was kind of catty, I'm gonna be honest. But then I was gonna be the bigger person. And then I just said, look, sounds good, man. Possibly next Friday. I'll shoot you the link. Sweet, can't wait. I tell him, like, look, and I mean this to everybody. If this guy, let me look, is he here? Because I gave him the link. He's not here. He's not here. All right, so I want you all to know that if this guy came on right now, I would not be rude to him. I don't even know his name. I would ask him his name if he'd want to give it to me. And I say, look, you said some things, but I'm giving you the floor right now. Let's work through this. I want you guys to know that. I would. And if he's watching, I want him to know that. I say we can address whatever problems you may have. Personal problems, even though you don't know me. Problems of me as a collector, as a YouTuber, etc. I'll give you the floor. He says it's fascinating. I don't have a problem with you. It's just you don't have a problem with me, but you want to, you know, personally attack me. It's fascinating the way you approach things and how you interact with others, like you have some sort of God complex and you know it all. First of all, I don't know it all, but I pride myself in being able to have, you know, debate topics that I'm passionate about. It's like people can't have opinions without you jumping on them when you don't agree. And this is what I say. If you feel that this is how I truly am, I say humbly that your perception of me is completely wrong. And you guys, if you know me, you know, I just said it earlier in the show, perception and intent. My intent may be perceived completely different. I don't know. And I got to be humble to that. I gotta respect and have some empathy for in humility for other people if I may be coming off a certain way. And maybe it's just a misunderstanding. He says, honestly, I don't care. Got more stuff to deal with. You're just another internet person. Okay. I said, well, like I said a year ago, you know, you got the time and energy to keep talking with me. I will bring you on the show. We can have a discussion. And it's all deflection. But I told him, I said, look, you know, people mistake my passion for ego. In reality, especially in this polarized society, I welcome different opinions more than the average person. And that's the thing that drives me nuts. And that is one thing that I do like to drill home, because I want everyone to know, for the sake of my viewers and my channel and in this interaction that I have with all of you, if I'm coming at you in the comments and I'm coming at you, know it's all love. I just am passionate. And if I disagree with you or want to challenge your point, I will. You just got to be able to take that and see it how it is. It's not an attack. It's allowing us to challenge each other. When did we forget how to challenge each other and how to learn from each other instead of being yes men, instead of being freaking group think, tone, deaf echo chamber zombies? That ain't me. I will never be that. But I told him, I'm like, look, you say you don't got the energy for this, like, but you keep personally attacking me. Honestly, this ain't no threat. This is just the reality of it, guys. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to tell y'all right here, right now. Something just came up on my feed from a year ago, too, to where somebody was in my comments saying, that dude, Journo, is a snake. He shouldn't be a father. If you came at me 20 plus years ago, I'd be in jail to this day. Maybe for the rest of my life. And no, that ain't a threat, or I ain't trying to, you know, pump my chest up. But I have multiple friends and peers that I grew up with, where in the communities that I've lived and grew up in, that have been murdered for looking at somebody the wrong way and saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. And that's real. And we get so comfortable sitting behind our screens, we forget that there is accountability to our words. I've seen too many people shot in the back of the head, stabbed for looking at somebody the wrong way or saying the wrong thing. Y'all got privilege if you think that that ain't the real world out there. And tell me if it's worth it over comic books. I'm saying the same shit. You guys tired of this by now? Are you guys tired of hearing me say this shit? Anyways, I mean, yep, okay. Oh, the show's today. Yeah, he said, I ain't scared to come on. He says, I ain't scared to come on. He's still not here. I ain't scared to come on. That was his words. I ain't scared to come on, but you're this, you're that, you're sucking off some other dude. Okay, buddy. So with that being said, where are they? I have yet to have one person. I'm gonna calm down. I'm not gonna yell this. I'm gonna say this quietly. I have yet to have one person come on my show. One person come on my show. Not one. To come at me and tell me to my face. I've had people get in front of their own cameras on their channel, running their mouths. And I came back on my channel and said to everyone in my chat, you ain't saying one negative thing. And I'll tell y'all right now, if this dude's watching, if this dude shows up in my chat, if anybody says a negative thing about him, I will block you forever. Not negative in like a disagreement. I mean, like, you know, running your mouth and bullying, because I ain't for that. That shows who I am. I've had not one person come up on my show. Yeah, Lisa, absolutely. Kevin, I hear you too, because I mean, yep. Thank you. I mean, straight up. So the thing I want to say is this, because I really want to get to the point where I stop talking about this. Yeah, I fed the algorithms, folks. I brought you guys here. Drama. I brought you guys here. You happy about that? You want to hear about the goddamn drama? You want to keep hearing about it? Or do we want to freaking talk about comic books? If you only want to hear about the drama, what I'm trying to tell you guys is this ain't it for you. This ain't the channel for you. I don't care if I lose subscribers. That's the thing. I don't care if I lose subscribers. I don't care. What I care about is using any platform that I have, talking about anything in life to better this world that we live in. Because think about this. And I just posted this on my Facebook the other day. In 100 years from now, every single one of us is going to be dead, buried in a ground, burnt to ashes. Whether you believe in God, Allah, heaven, hell, nothing, atheist, I don't know. We ain't going to be here. None of us. So what I realize is this. My purpose in life is not to try to continue to make people that don't want to be decent human beings. My purpose is to embrace decent human beings to be better and to keep doing what they're doing. Because I do believe, although, you know, don't get me wrong, I know there's a lot of like rich white folks. They ain't got to all be white. You know, laws of attraction. Oh man, I just thought about that new Ferrari and it came to me. You know, attract what you want. Like, nah, life ain't like that. You're entitled. But I do believe in thought manifests, and I do believe that everything is energy. And I do believe, yes, it starts with the energy that we put out in the world, we give back. And my energy is more important for me to protect myself, to be able to be here for those that matter, like my children, And like all of you that keep coming here to support what is good in life or good in this hobby instead of trying. So that doesn't mean my door ain't going to be open. It'll always be open because I want to continue to move past misunderstandings. I want to continue to move past the anger and the frustration and the inability to communicate. I'm going to move past the fact that, you voted for this person and I voted for that person. You pray to that person and I pray to that person. You look like this, I look like that. You dress like this, you dress like that. But if you guys aren't pushing that, bringing that same energy, it ain't up to me to try. Because I'm realizing more than ever, the majority of those people, they want to be miserable. And it's sad. And the only thing I can do is pray for them. I'm done feeding the algorithms. If I got to drop videos and lose subscribers and only get 500 views on my videos from here on out, then those 500 views mean a lot more than the 6,000 to 10,000 that want to come on some drama. Because drama sells. I'm tired. Doesn't mean we need to like every single freaking YouTuber that makes content. It doesn't mean that we need to like every seller that's selling on whatnot. But goddamn, stop focusing on what you don't like and focus on what makes you happy. And when we do need to hold somebody accountable because it matters to us, please do it with the intent of changing things, not with the intent of feeling validated because of your ego. How would I be if I hated sushi? What if I showed up at a sushi restaurant every night, ordered some sushi, put it in my mouth, and spit it out and yelled and screamed at the cook and the waiters and waitresses? How dare you serve this crap? Yeah, I know it's not apples to apples, but don't like the sushi? Go somewhere else. You don't like Fox News? Watch CNN. You don't like CNN? Watch Fox News. You don't like rap music? Listen to country. You don't like country? Listen to rap music. You don't like variants? Don't buy them. You don't like Comic Joe and Comic John? Don't watch them. You don't like Starbucks? Don't give them your money. Go to Pete's. So, that's all I have, guys. I'm done. I'm done with drama. So, with that being said, I'm not done with the live stream because I have a couple Q&As to get to for my patrons. I want to look at some comments real quick. Yep. Yep. I'm so tired of it. Blah, 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 blah. I don't like this. I don't like that. Nah, nah, nah. Sorry. I'm done. Oh, guys. No, that's not what I'm saying either, guys. That's not what I'm saying. That's not, see how easy it is to get to just kind of twist words. And Second Street, I'm not saying that you're like purposely twisting my words. I I do think it's a little bit of like a straw man argument that you're injecting here. But no, I never said that. On the contrary, I'm saying that we should be able to express our opinions, even when they're different, even when we don't like something. But like what I'm trying to say is this: the majority of people doing this do it for a reason. They do it to feel validated and to live in this negative space because we're so addicted to it like a drug. We're addicted to negative. We're addicted to drama as if it was a drug. It is all part of that freaking ego-driven mentality that we live in this world. We can't have conversations. We don't focus on what's good. Focusing on the negative should be done in a way to where we aspire to find good from it. If we don't like something that CGC does, it should be in a way to make CGC learn and do something better. If you don't like what a seller is doing, and we should address it, we should be vocal about it in a way to where we want them doing better. If we don't like what a publisher is doing, what writers are doing, what actors are doing, or movies are doing, we should voice it in a way to where we want better. We don't want that. We want to complain about everything because we don't want better. We don't want better. We don't. We love the negative. We love the drama. And if you don't believe that the majority of people are just so engulfed into this, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. What would these pitchfork individuals do without I dare say their names that they make memes off of? And they're so desperate to focus on the negative that they will take anybody that has a little success like me and run my name through the mud. And they will make you believe it. That I am such a bad person. I'm such a snake of a person that I shouldn't even be a father. That's what they want you to believe. This is what these people are doing. And we're all, even if we as individuals aren't, even myself, I'm not even saying I'm completely innocent. It's so easy for us to get wrapped up into it. That's the point I'm making. And I'm tired. We have so much more things to worry about in life. And I say this. If we turn social media off for a week and just went outside and talked to each other, what a better world we would live in. On God. I hear you, Mark. And I'm telling you right this. I guarantee you ain't nobody living like, and that's the thing, man. It's like, look, you know, I am blessed with so much of what I have in life. Blessed. But I've lived in poverty. I've lived where, you know, I had to put my kids to bed with them not having a good meal at night. I grew up in environments and neighborhoods where, you know, people living worse than me and people losing their lives and dealing with real life issues. You think they're worrying about comic books? And even the drama in the streets is trivial because what? A lot of people, you know, poverty breeds violence, poverty breeds hate, poverty breeds struggle, and we're all wrapped up in banging over streets that we don't even own. But I mean, goddamn, what is missing in our lives to where we gotta, you know, I mean, continue on with the same drama? Why? Because it feeds the ego and validates. I'm done. But like I said, I'm moving on. I'm moving on, guys. Before we end the show tonight, I want to get to some of these questions. Okay, thank you, Secretary. Thank you. I appreciate you acknowledging that. All right, guys. I want to pull up a couple. This is very important for me to get to this, guys. Peter, who patron of the channel, who donated a giveaway. Honestly, and you know what? I'm going to do a giveaway too. I'm going to give away the reader's lot tonight to somebody. So let's do that. But before I do that, I'm going to get into this question. I haven't even read this question yet. So Peter, if you're watching, I don't even know what this is about. Here we go. I have a question about Fantastic Four 48 and 49. First appearances of Silver Surfer and Galactus. During the 2020-2021 boom, I was of the opinion that down the road when Fantastic Four trailers started dropping and either Galactus or Silver Surfer are confirmed, those books would blow through the roof like no others with huge long-term gains. But now I feel like the market will be wise to that in 2025, and we will have more people letting it pass on by and wait for later. And how are those books doing at the moment? What's the supply and demand like? What's the supply and demand like? Not looking for hard data, just for feel. I don't own them, but I would really like to have a low-grade copy of each one day. Peter, this is such a great overall question, framing a really good topic of discussion here, because the first thing that we need to address is the state of live action speculation. But before that, I am going to bring up some rough numbers here, okay? I'm going to bring up some rough numbers here. We're going to look at cover price. Here's 48. So, I mean, I have a 3.0 48 that I bought for what? I think 600 some years back. And I mean, the last sale was 895. No, oh, sorry. Let me go to graded. That's raw. Graded is still, up around $900. So it's still more than it's selling for more than pre-COVID. All right. Let's look at peak. We're gonna pick a grade. Let's pick a mid grade. Let's pick 7.5s. Let's see what it was doing at the peak here. I mean, we got sales. I mean, it was around 4,000. You got an average of 4 something, a couple 5s, even a couple of 6 and 7s, but those are kind of outliers. I would have never set the fair market value above 6 for this. You got 1, 2, 3 that were above 6. But okay, about 5,000 here in early 2022, and right now it's selling for it's averaging right under 4,000. All right, so it's definitely cooled off some from about a year and a half ago. But let's look at this. We look back to before COVID. I mean, it was selling around the end of 2019, early 2020, 2,500 to 3,000. So it's still up on the market. All right. These books are still up on the market. That's a good sign. That's a good long-term sign. And this is what I'm going to bring it back to Movie Spec. Movie Spec. You may think that people are getting wise to it, but a lot of people aren't, man. Because even in this, I don't have specific examples off the top of my head, but live action spec is still driving books, even in this down market. When we got what is something recently that we got? Man, I'm trying to think. Anybody, if you guys want to leave a comment and help me out. I know we had Quantumania. What was the last Marvel show? I don't even remember. EW, thank you. Appreciate it. The point that I'm trying to make is that speculation is not dead. Now, is it at the White Vision height? I don't think so. But there's been a couple of books over the last year or so. I mean, look at Frogman. I know we weren't, when She-Hulk aired, we were already in a downturn. And people took a dollar bin book and were paying what, 20-30 bucks for it, because they found out Frogman was going to be in She-Hulk, and he was in like one episode for 5 seconds as comic relief. I mean, Infinite Crisis, yeah, and look, and that's even DC, where, you know, look at all DC struggles. My answer to this is this. I honestly think that investing in Fantastic Four 48 and 49 right now, and again, this is just my humble opinion, I don't think it's a bad idea. When we get an announcement or a trailer or any real confirmation, I'm not talking about fake stuff like, you know, the World War Hulk stuff from GG. Oh, I'm not even saying their names. When we get official announcements of either Galactus or Silver Surfer, and I do believe that it's inevitable that they're coming, these books are still, in my humble opinion, going to skyrocket. Now, what that means in terms of coming back down, the ebb and flow of it, because we know how it works. What goes up must come down some when it comes to live action. It's just the way of the beast. But with books like this, they're Silver Age books. They're already blue chip keys, in my humble opinion. And they're two characters that, I mean, they're not like Adam Warlock. And I love Adam Warlock. Don't get me wrong. And I think there's a lot of future potential. They're not even like Captain Marvel or, you know, Miss Marvel, you know, Carol Danvers. These are two, I mean, Galactus is arguably one of the most iconic villains of Marvel. And Silver Surfer, why he's not, you know, one of the legacy characters, he's not Spider-Man or even like a Wolverine. He is a very sought after character. These characters are going to drive demand no matter what. I think it's a decent time to buy. I mean, should you? I mean, look, you missed the peak. They're coming back down at what? What are they at? Like a 35 to 40% drop from a peak, maybe on average. Hey, it's a buyer's market for many of these books. Should you have bought them pre-COVID? Yeah, it would have been a better option, but you didn't. What you don't want to do is still buy them when we actually get those trailers or announcements. They're going to go up, but they might come down a little bit. But no matter what, and I always say this, we forget that comic books are valuable because of intrinsic factors. We don't need live action movies and shows for comic books to have value. It's not the main reason why we value them. But I do believe this, even though we might see an initial ebb and flow because of how the speculation and FOMO works when we get an announcement or a trailer or a casting, even these blue chip Silver Age keys are going to ebb and flow. But I do believe this, setting new floors. While it might come down after a casting or a trailer or after the movie's release, they might come down a little bit, but they're going to set a new floor. And 5 to 10 years later, because they are Silver Age blue key books, blue chip key books, they're going to keep increasing. They're going to keep increasing. I believe that the value that they're sitting at right now will not be the value 5 years from now, no matter of movie hype, movies, TV shows, them appearing or not. 10 years from now as well. I believe what they're going to be selling for 5 years from now is not going to be what they're selling at 10 years from now. I believe these books are going to continue to gain value over the next decade plus, simply because of what they are. And the last thing I'll say is this. Even a character like Thanos had a drop. After his arc was done in the MCU, his first appearance dropped. But it's been moving back up. And the last time I looked, the book is either like at peak or just over peak. That's solid. That's solid. And it goes to show you, because there is some nostalgia there. And there is now the fact that Thanos is this character that meant so much to this movie franchise, that the younger generations that do want to get in the comic books, they're going to have that there. Just like, you know, us with Star Wars, that main, you know, some of us grew up with Star Wars. Like, I wasn't alive when the first movie came out, but, you know, Star Wars meant so much to me still. and it was there. So those things are going to be there. I think Galactus and Silver Surfer are going to be a part of the MCU, and they're going to be there for the next generations to look at and care about and say, oh, these are real cool characters. Let me go check out their books. So I'm going to end it on this note, Peter. I wouldn't be too concerned with these books, even if you think that maybe people are going to get more hit to this kind of FOMO buzz of how we speculate on comic books. And quite honestly, I do hope that more and more buyers get a little more hit to it. We got to stop following these trends. And I've said this before, if you're really a speculator, you know, people are saying speculators are ruining the hobby because when we get a trailer, they're buying all the books. Anybody buying books after an announcement or a trailer isn't a speculator, because a speculator is going to be able to know what's coming. They're going to have those books in advance and buy them on the low. If they're speculating, if they think they're speculating, they're buying them at the trailer, they're bad gamblers. They're bad market players. So that's what I got to say about that, guys. So Red Knock, thank you. All right, guys, with that being said, before we go, let's give away just a little fun. We got Weapon X tie-in from Marvel Comics Presents, a couple of cool Bronze Age Reader Fantastic Four books, and a cool little Marvel Tales reprinting the Death of Green Goblin ASM 122 reprint. So I want to give this away to somebody that's here right now. All right, what should we do? What is the question I can ask? I'm going to ask you guys a question. EGS is hanging out. Big shout out to EGS. I got some books going out. We're working on some custom labels right now. I hope to get these books out to EGS maybe by next week. I can't wait. Some for my PC, some to sell. I can't wait. What should I ask everybody today? What should I ask? Man. Any suggestions, guys? So I can give some comic books away. I hear you, Carrie. Absolutely. I'm trying to think something that's personal to me. Martin says the answer is Mephisto. That's the answer. Okay, I got a good one. You guys are just like, come on, say something. Watlock. Matt Stad, what's going on? Don Gustavo. All right. This is what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to type the question right now. I'm not going to send it yet. All right. When I enter this comment, the first one under it to get the right answer wins these books. Now, I do ask, if you're not in the States, we might work out a little something else, because shipping is crazy these days, guys. And there's not much value here. So if you're in the States, I might do a little something if you're not in the States, I might do a little something for you that we could work out to where you could still, but just to let you guys know. But if you're not in the States, don't be intimidated. We'll work something out. Still answer the question. All right, here we go. I'm going to say it. In the first question under the comment, though, that gets it right is going to win. If it's above the comment, it meant you jumped the gun. And I'm going to press enter right as I'm finishing the last word of the question. All right, here we go. All right. It is no, I'm not even going to say that. I'm just going to ask the question. You guys ready? What is my all-time number one number one favorite, like number one up there in my ranking, what is my all-time number one MCU movie? Number one MCU movie that is ranked number one on my list. All right, first one in Martin Morales' Spider-Man. There are multiple Spider-Man movies. It's not a Spider-Man movie, so that doesn't win. Amazing Spider-Man, says Phil. That's not an MCU movie, so it's strictly MCU, but it's not, that's not even close to any of the MCU movies. But we do have a winner, and I'm going to take a minute before I say it. I'm seeing a lot of different answers. Man, only one person got it right so far. Only one person got it right so far. And I'm going to call him out. Matt Stash, Iron Man, number one. Yes, the first Iron Man is still, to this day, my number one on the list of MCU films. Why? And I have talked about it on my channel. I probably talked about it on the Canon, because for two reasons. One, because overall, from beginning to end, it is just, I mean, to me, it's the best origin story, one of the best origin stories told on film. It's extremely accurate to the comics, but yet still so fresh and modern. RDJ portraying the role for the first time and just embodying the character, one of the greatest on-screen portrayals of a character ever. You know, like, even though the kind of the villain thing has been carbon copied in the MCU, you know, Hulk, oh, here's some guy taking the same powers and we're going to fight against you. Yellow Jacket and Iron Man, oh, somebody that used to work for the company, now he's stealing the tech and, you know, I got to fight him. You know, that's what Stain did, but it was the first movie to do that. And Marvel just kept copying that formula, which is whack. But it's number one for all those reasons, but it's still number one because it is such the foundation and the framework for everything that came after. There's no way you could put any other movie at number one, because without this amazing piece of work, none of it would have ever happened. There wouldn't have been an Endgame and an Infinity War, a Black Panther, a No Way Home, a Winter Soldier, Civil War. Those are some of my top fives or whatever. So Matt Stash, congrats, man. A long time friend and supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. I'm going to send you some books. Hit me up. I might have had your address at one point, but shoot me a message on Instagram so I can send you these books. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Oh, Matt. Okay, I'm going to tell you, Matt, I'm going to hook. Damn it, Matt. He's in Canada. Okay, I'm going to hook you up with something, Matt. I'm going to hit me up still. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I need to ask another question now, though. I need to ask another question. All right, I'm going to make it a little tough, too. Here, okay, Matt, thank you. Hey, hit me up. We're going to talk. We're going to talk. All right, guys. Next question, okay? I'm going to type it in. Now that you know my number one MCU, remember, just MCU. Now that you know my number one MCU, what are my, oh my God. How do I, okay, hold on. God darn it. Okay. I'm going to keep it this way. It doesn't have to be in order, but you got to get both right. What's my number 2 and number 3 MCU movies? What is my number 2 and 3? They don't got to be in the right order, but they got to be the right movies. Iron Man's my number 1. That's a good question, Tony. Keith! Some good answers so far. Steven, Civil War, Endgame, Civil. Mm-hmm. No one yet. What's going on, Keith? Good to see you here. Man, this is a tough one. Brendan, what's going on, Brendan? Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Nobody yet. Man. All right, I'll give you a hint. Well, I don't need to give you a hint because somebody got it. Nowhere Bound, Winter Soldier, and Black Panther. Nowhere Bound, hit me up. You got IG? Hit me up on the IG. Look, it's really tough for me because it's shifted. Iron Man's always been my number 1. I do put Infinity War and Endgame as 1. I do put them as 1. Okay. Guardians Volume 1. So, okay. I'm going to give you my top 5 right now. Iron Man. This isn't in particular order. Iron Man, Winter Soldier and Black Panther are my top 3. And then my next are Infinity War and Endgame is 1. And then Guardians Volume 1 and No Way Home. So those are my top 6. So Nowhere Bound, thank you. You're getting some books. Thanks to Matt Stash for paying it forward. So yeah, Nowhere Bound, hit me up on IG. And Matt, I'm still going to reach out to you. We're going to talk, okay? So guys, thank you so much, man. It's been a good night. It felt really good to be back here streaming for the first time in a couple months. You guys are awesome. So look, I want to end it like this. I really enjoyed, when you talk about like negative things, like we went into tonight talking about like Marvel price increases. And there's a lot of like, people are upset, people are angry, there's some negative, there's some positive, but we talk about it. We talk about it in a way to where it's just not so like, ew. Like, let's just ride on the drama and attack everything. We're really talking about it to say, what can we do to make what we love better? Right? And we did that. And we go into what I talked about the drama and the algorithms and all this stuff. It's just this bigger, lingering dark cloud of that we are feeding our egos with this toxicity that we want validation. And, we would rather tear each other apart instead of build each other up. And I'm tired of it. And I'm done. And I'm willing to sacrifice subscribers. I'm willing to sacrifice views. I don't care. The algorithms, I don't care. I want the time that I spend here with you guys and talking about comic books has to be something that is meaningful to me, that is healthy for me, that waters my soil instead of poisons it. And it should be the same for all my viewers. And that's what I'm going to leave you on tonight, guys. Thank you so much for being here on this Friday. I really do hope you guys have a good, Labor Day weekend. Be safe, be good to yourselves, be good to others. Remember, if you're not subscribed, please do so. I'm still here, guys. All right. Look out for the Whatnot sales. Look out for the Instagram sales. Look out for the videos. Much love to all you guys. Thank you so much. Be well. And until next time.